When I installed security cameras to protect my wife's office, I never expected to catch her having an affair with her married boss on live feed. Before we continue, please subscribe this channel and let us know in the comments from where country you are watching this video. My name is Dylan Matthews, and I work as a security systems installer. I have been married to Caroline for 6 wonderful years. At least I thought they were wonderful. Caroline works at a small marketing agency downtown. She is smart, beautiful, and everything I ever wanted in a wife. I love her more than anything in this world. Recently, there have been several break-ins around Caroline's office building. Business owners in the area are getting worried. Caroline mentions this to me over dinner one evening. She seems stressed about the situation. I decide to surprise her with something special. I will install a top-of-the-line security system at her office completely free. This will keep her safe and give me peace of mind. I arrive at Caroline's office on a Monday morning with all my equipment. Caroline seems nervous when I explain what I am doing. She keeps asking about camera locations and where they will be pointing. I tell her not to worry because the system will protect everyone. Her boss, Trevor Blackwood, comes out to meet me. He is a tall man in his 40s with expensive suits and a confident smile. Trevor asks detailed questions about the camera coverage areas. He wants to know about blind spots and recording capabilities. I explain that the system will cover all common areas and individual offices. Trevor nods and says this is exactly what they need. He seems particularly interested in which areas will not be monitored. I tell him the bathrooms and storage closets will have no cameras for privacy reasons. Caroline watches nervously as I install cameras throughout the office. She keeps fidgeting with her wedding ring and checking her phone. I ask if everything is okay. She says she is just stressed about work deadlines. I kiss her cheek and tell her this security system will make everything better. She forces a smile, but still looks uncomfortable. The installation takes most of the day to complete properly. I set up cameras in the reception area, main office space, hallways, and break room. I also install one in Trevor's private office at his specific request. He says important client meetings happen there, and he wants everything recorded. Caroline seems surprised that Trevor wants a camera in his office. She asks if it is really necessary. I finish the installation and show Caroline how the mobile app works. She can check the cameras anytime from her phone. I can also monitor everything remotely to ensure the system stays functional. Caroline downloads the app but seems hesitant to use it. Trevor thanks me and pays immediately with cash. He says he appreciates having extra security for his valuable employees. That evening, Caroline is quieter than usual during dinner. I ask about her day in the new security system. She says everything went fine, but seems distracted. She goes to bed early, claiming she has a headache. I stay up late watching television and feeling proud of protecting my wife. I have no idea what I will discover in just 3 weeks. 3 weeks pass since I installed the security system at Caroline's office. Everything seems normal in our marriage. Caroline goes to work every day and comes home at her usual time. She seems less stressed now that the office has proper security. I feel good knowing my wife is safe while she works. I check the camera feeds occasionally to make sure everything functions properly. It is a Tuesday afternoon, and I am eating lunch at a job site. I decide to check the office cameras through my phone app. This is something I do maybe once or twice a week. I open the app and select the main office camera first. Everything looks normal with employees working at their desks. I switch to the break room camera and see 2 people getting coffee. Nothing unusual there either. Then I decide to check Trevor's private office camera. What I see makes my blood run cold. Caroline and Trevor are locked in a passionate embrace near his desk. They are kissing like lovers, not coworkers. My hands start shaking as I watch my wife betray our marriage. I cannot believe what I am seeing with my own eyes. This must be some kind of mistake or misunderstanding. But there is no mistake about what happens next. Caroline and Trevor begin removing each other's clothing with desperate urgency. They move to the couch in Trevor's office and become intimate. I watch in horror as my wife makes love to another man. My heart feels like it is being ripped from my chest. 20 minutes pass before they finish and start getting dressed again. I immediately start reviewing previous footage from the same camera. My worst fears become reality as I discover this has been happening for months. Almost every day during lunch breaks, Caroline and Trevor meet in his office. Sometimes they just talk intimately, other times they are physical. I find footage from late evenings when they stay after other employees leave. My entire marriage has been a lie. The conversations I can hear through the camera audio make everything worse. Trevor promises Caroline that he will leave his wife, Miranda, soon. He talks about making Caroline a full partner in the business. Caroline tells Trevor she loves him and wants to start a new life together. She complains about being stuck in a boring marriage with me. Every word feels like a knife in my heart. I save dozens of video files and take screenshots of the most damaging moments. My hands shake as I document my wife's betrayal with photographic evidence. Part of me wants to storm into that office right now. Another part of me wants to delete everything and pretend this never happened. But I know I cannot unsee what I have witnessed today. Caroline calls me that evening asking if I want Chinese takeout for dinner. She sounds completely normal, like nothing happened. I can barely speak without my voice breaking. I tell her I am not hungry and will eat something later. She says she loves me before hanging up. Those words feel hollow and meaningless now that I know the truth about her feelings. When Caroline comes home that night, she acts like the perfect loving wife. She kisses me hello and asks about my day. She talks about her boring day at the office and complains about Trevor being demanding. The lies flow from her mouth so easily that I wonder how long she has been deceiving me. I want to confront her immediately, but something stops me. I realize I need to be smart about this situation. Caroline and Trevor think their secret is safe because they avoid the main office cameras. They have no idea that Trevor's private office camera captures everything they do. This gives me a huge advantage that I cannot waste by acting emotionally. I need to gather more evidence and plan my next moves carefully. That night, I lie awake next to my cheating wife, planning my response. Caroline sleeps peacefully while I stare at the ceiling, processing everything I learned. My marriage is over, but I will not let Caroline and Trevor destroy me. They think they are so clever, but they have no idea what is coming. The security cameras meant to protect Caroline will be the tools of their downfall. The next morning, I wake up with a clear mission. I need to gather as much evidence as possible before making any moves. Caroline gets ready for work like nothing happened yesterday. She kisses me goodbye and tells me she loves me. I force myself to say it back, even though the words taste bitter. I wait until her car disappears down the street before starting my investigation. I spend the entire day reviewing weeks of security footage systematically. What I discover makes the betrayal even worse than I imagined. Caroline and Trevor have been meeting almost daily for 3 months. They use code words over the office phone to arrange their meetings. Trevor calls them client consultations, and Caroline refers to them as project updates when talking to other employees. The audio from Trevor's office reveals shocking details about their relationship. Trevor talks about his wife Miranda being pregnant with their second child. He complains about Miranda gaining weight and being emotional during pregnancy. Caroline listens sympathetically and tells Trevor he deserves better. They discuss how boring their current spouses are compared to each other. These conversations make me sick to my stomach. I create a detailed timeline documenting every encounter between Caroline and Trevor. I note dates, times, duration, and what activities occurred during each meeting. The pattern becomes clear that their relationship escalated from emotional to physical 2 months ago. They always meet when other employees go to lunch or after everyone else leaves. Their timing shows careful planning to avoid getting caught. During one recorded conversation, I learned something that changes everything. Trevor admits to Caroline that he has no intention of actually leaving Miranda. He says the pregnancy makes divorce too complicated and expensive right now. Caroline becomes upset and asks when they can be together openly. Trevor tells her to be patient and promises things will change after the baby arrives. I realize Caroline is being manipulated just like I am. But the worst discovery comes when I hear them discussing business plans. Caroline has been stealing client information from her current employer to help Trevor start a competing agency. She photographs client contracts and emails confidential information to Trevor's personal account. They plan to poach major clients and hire away the best employees. This goes beyond adultery into serious professional misconduct. I recognize some of the client names Caroline mentions during their conversations. One of them is my own security company's biggest corporate account. Caroline and Trevor are planning to steal my clients as part of their new business venture. They want to offer security services along with marketing to create a full-service agency. Caroline knows all my client contacts and pricing strategies from our dinner conversations at home. This revelation fills me with cold rage rather than sadness. Caroline is not just cheating on me emotionally and physically. She is actively working to destroy my livelihood and steal my business relationships. The woman I trusted with everything is plotting to take away my career and financial security. This makes their betrayal unforgivable in my mind. I begin saving every piece of evidence to multiple backup drives. I organize the files by date and create summary documents explaining what each video shows. I take screenshots of the most damaging moments and compile them into a comprehensive presentation. My years of technical experience help me create professional quality documentation that would hold up in any legal proceeding. Caroline comes home that evening complaining about Trevor being difficult at work. She says he has been demanding and unreasonable lately. I listen to her lies while planning how to use the truth against both of them. She has no idea that I know about their afternoon encounter or their business plans. Her acting skills are impressive, but I have video evidence of her real feelings. That night, I stay up late organizing my evidence files and researching my legal options. I contact a divorce attorney online and schedule a consultation for later in the week. I also research the legal implications of corporate espionage and client theft. Caroline and Trevor have made serious mistakes that could result in criminal charges and civil lawsuits. They think they are so smart, but they left a digital trail of their crimes. After 3 days of gathering evidence, I decide it is time to take action. My first target will be Trevor's pregnant wife, Miranda. She deserves to know what kind of man she married before their second child arrives. I create an anonymous email account using a public computer at the library. This ensures nothing can be traced back to me when everything starts falling apart. I select the most damaging video clips showing Trevor and Caroline together intimately. I choose footage that clearly shows both of their faces and leaves no doubt about what is happening. I also include audio clips where Trevor talks about Miranda in cruel ways. The evidence package shows not just the physical betrayal, but also Trevor's emotional cruelty toward his pregnant wife. The email I sent to Miranda is short and direct. I write that someone thought she should know what her husband does during his lunch meetings at work. I include timestamps for each video file and clear instructions on how to view them. I do not make threats or demands, just present the facts. Miranda deserves the truth, even if it destroys her world like it destroyed mine. Within 2 hours of sending the email, my phone buzzes with a security camera alert. I open the app to see Miranda storming through the office front door. She looks furious and determined as she marches toward Trevor's private office. Several employees stop working to stare at the pregnant woman moving through their workspace. I turn up the volume to hear what happens next. Miranda bursts into Trevor's office, where he sits alone working on his computer. She throws printed screenshots of the security footage onto his desk. Trevor's face goes white as he recognizes the images. Miranda starts yelling about finding video evidence of his affair with Caroline. Her voice carries through the entire office as employees gather to listen. This is exactly the public confrontation I hoped would happen. Trevor tries to deny everything at first, claiming the videos are fake or taken out of context. Miranda plays audio clips on her phone of Trevor calling her boring and complaining about her pregnancy weight. The cruel words echo through the office as everyone hears Trevor's true feelings about his wife. Several female employees look disgusted as they listen to his callous comments about Miranda. Caroline chooses this moment to return from her lunch break. She walks into the office to find Miranda confronting Trevor about their affair. Caroline freezes in the doorway as she realizes their secret has been exposed. Miranda turns to face Caroline with pure hatred in her eyes. She calls Caroline horrible names and accuses her of destroying a family. Caroline tries to run, but Miranda blocks her path. The confrontation escalates as Miranda demands answers from both Trevor and Caroline. She wants to know how long the affair has been going on. She asks if Caroline knows about the pregnancy and upcoming baby. Caroline starts crying and claiming she never meant to hurt anyone. Trevor tells both women to calm down and suggests they discuss this privately. Miranda refuses and says everyone should know what kind of people they work with. Other employees record the confrontation on their phones as Miranda continues her public shaming. She announces that she is filing for divorce and taking both children away from Trevor. She tells Caroline that Trevor will never leave his family and has been lying about his intentions. Caroline looks shocked as she realizes Trevor has been manipulating her feelings and promises. Miranda storms out of the office after delivering her final blow. She tells Trevor that her attorney will contact him about divorce proceedings and child custody arrangements. She warns Caroline that homewreckers always get what they deserve in the end. The entire office watches in stunned silence as Miranda leaves the building. Trevor and Caroline are left standing there exposed and humiliated. I watch this entire scene unfold through the security cameras I installed to protect Caroline. The irony is not lost on me that my own technology is destroying her life. Caroline tries calling me immediately after Miranda leaves, but I let it go to voicemail. She sounds panicked and desperate as she asks me to call her back urgently. I delete the message without listening to the entire thing. While Caroline deals with the fallout from Miranda's confrontation, I focus on the business theft I discovered. One of the stolen client lists belongs to Meridian Corporation, my security company's biggest account. This contract represents 30% of my annual revenue and took 2 years to secure. Caroline and Trevor plan to steal this client as the foundation of their new competing business. I call Robert Chen, the security director at Meridian Corporation. Robert and I have worked together for 3 years building a strong professional relationship. I explain that I have discovered a serious security breach involving confidential client information. Robert agrees to meet with me immediately at his corporate office. I bring printed copies of all the evidence showing Caroline and Trevor's theft plan. Robert's face darkens as he reviews the documented conversations between Caroline and Trevor. They discuss Meridian's security budget, contract renewal dates, and specific vulnerabilities in the current system. Caroline obtained this information from our private dinner conversations, where I shared work challenges. She memorized details about my clients and passed everything to Trevor for their business scheme. The evidence shows Trevor and Caroline planning to contact Meridian directly with a competing proposal. They intended to offer lower prices by combining marketing and security services under one contract. Caroline provided Trevor with my exact pricing structure and profit margins. This gave them an unfair advantage that would have destroyed my relationship with Meridian and cost me hundreds of thousands in revenue. Robert immediately terminates the contract with Caroline's marketing agency and promises to blacklist them from future business opportunities. He also agrees to provide a written statement about the attempted theft for my legal proceedings. Robert thanks me for discovering and reporting the breach before any real damage occurred. My honesty in this situation actually strengthens our business relationship rather than damaging it. I contact 3 other clients whose information Caroline stole and shared with Trevor. Each conversation follows the same pattern as they learn about the attempted theft. Dataflow Systems, Coastal Manufacturing, and Premier Properties all immediately sever ties with Caroline's agency. They also agree to provide testimony about the corporate espionage if needed for legal action against Caroline and Trevor. The ripple effects of these client revelations spread quickly through the business community. Caroline's marketing agency loses 4 major accounts in a single afternoon. The agency owner, Patricia Wells, calls an emergency meeting to understand why clients are suddenly canceling contracts. She has no idea that her employee Caroline has been stealing confidential information and planning to start a competing business. I position myself as the whistleblower who discovered unethical business practices and protected client interests. This narrative makes me look like a hero rather than a vengeful husband. The stolen clients appreciate my integrity and professionalism in handling the situation. Several of them offered to provide referrals to help grow my security business as compensation for preventing the theft. Caroline calls me again that evening, but I continue ignoring her attempts to reach me. She leaves increasingly desperate voicemails asking what is happening with her clients. She cannot understand why multiple accounts are suddenly canceling their contracts. Caroline has no idea that I orchestrated this professional destruction using evidence from her own recorded conversations with Trevor. The business theft revelations create additional pressure on Trevor's already damaged reputation. His law firm partners learn about the corporate espionage scheme through the client complaints. Professional misconduct allegations threaten Trevor's legal license and partnership status. The affair scandal was just the beginning of Trevor's problems as the business theft creates potential criminal liability. By the end of the day, Caroline's marketing agency is in crisis mode, trying to understand the client exodus. Patricia Wells discovers that Caroline has been accessing confidential files without authorization. Security logs show Caroline photographing contracts and emailing sensitive information to external addresses. Patricia realizes Caroline has been stealing from the company and planning to compete against them. The next morning brings devastating news for both Trevor and Caroline. Trevor's law firm partners call an emergency meeting after learning about the corporate espionage scandal. The partners review evidence of Trevor's involvement in stealing client information and planning a competing business. They also discuss the public affairs scandal that damaged the firm's reputation. Trevor faces immediate termination for ethical violations and breach of partnership agreements. Caroline arrives at work to find Patricia Wells waiting in her office with security personnel. Patricia presents evidence of Caroline's unauthorized access to client files and theft of confidential information. The computer logs show Caroline accessing accounts outside her assigned responsibilities and photographing sensitive documents. Patricia terminates Caroline immediately and threatens criminal prosecution for corporate theft and breach of contract. I watch through the security cameras as Caroline packs her personal belongings under supervision. She looks desperate and defeated as security escorts her from the building. Caroline tries calling Trevor for support, but he refuses to answer her calls. Trevor is dealing with his own professional crisis and cannot help Caroline with her problems. Their alliance crumbles under the pressure of public exposure and legal consequences. Trevor's termination from the law firm becomes public knowledge within hours. Legal industry publications report on the partnership dissolution and ethical violations. Trevor's reputation in the legal community is permanently damaged by the scandal. No reputable firm will hire an attorney involved in corporate espionage and public adultery scandals. Trevor's career prospects have been destroyed along with his marriage. Caroline discovers that her professional reputation is equally ruined when she starts looking for new employment. Word spreads quickly through the marketing industry about her involvement in client theft and unethical business practices. Former colleagues refuse to provide references or recommendations. Caroline realized that her actions have blacklisted her from working in marketing anywhere in the city. The financial pressures mount quickly for both Trevor and Caroline. Trevor faces expensive divorce proceedings and child support obligations without his law firm income. Caroline has no job prospects and mounting bills from her lifestyle. They both expected to start their new business with stolen clients, but those plans collapsed when I exposed their scheme. Neither of them planned for the consequences of getting caught. I continue monitoring the security cameras to watch their desperate attempts at damage control. Caroline begs Patricia Wells to reconsider the termination and drop criminal charges. Patricia refuses and explains that Caroline's actions put the entire agency at legal risk. Trevor meets with his former law partners trying to negotiate a settlement, but they refuse to associate with him anymore. The stress of their situation causes Trevor and Caroline's relationship to deteriorate rapidly. They blame each other for the exposure and professional destruction. Caroline accuses Trevor of promising things he never intended to deliver. Trevor claims Caroline was reckless with the client information and caused their downfall. Their recorded arguments through the office cameras show their true feelings when facing consequences. Caroline's attempts to contact me become more frequent and desperate. She leaves voicemails claiming she needs to explain everything and ask for forgiveness. Caroline still has no idea that I orchestrated her professional destruction using evidence from her own security cameras. She thinks her world collapsed due to Miranda's discovery and random bad luck rather than calculated revenge. Patricia Wells files formal complaints with law enforcement about Caroline's corporate theft. The police investigation reveals the full scope of Caroline and Trevor's business conspiracy. Criminal charges for theft of trade secrets and corporate espionage become likely outcomes. Both Caroline and Trevor face potential jail time in addition to their civil liability. The local business community learns about the scandal through news reports and industry gossip. Caroline and Trevor become cautionary tales about the consequences of mixing personal affairs with professional misconduct. Their reputations are permanently destroyed, making future employment or business ventures nearly impossible in this city. After 3 days of avoiding Caroline's desperate phone calls, I decide it is time for our final confrontation. I spend the morning packing Caroline's belongings into boxes and placing them by the front door. Her clothes, personal items, and wedding photos all go into storage containers. I remove her key from my keychain and place divorce papers on the kitchen table. Everything is ready when Caroline comes home that evening. Caroline walks through the front door and immediately sees her packed belongings. Her face shows confusion and then growing panic as she realizes what this means. She calls my name, and I appear from the living room holding my tablet computer. Caroline starts talking rapidly, trying to explain about losing her job and needing my support. I remain silent and calm as she becomes increasingly frantic. I interrupt Caroline's desperate explanations by showing her the tablet screen. The security camera footage plays showing her intimate encounter with Trevor in his office. Caroline's face goes white as she watches herself betraying our marriage. She tries to grab the tablet, but I pull it away and continue playing more damaging clips. Her lies and excuses die in her throat as undeniable evidence plays before her eyes. Caroline collapses into a chair as the reality hits her completely. She asks how long I have known about the affair and why I waited to confront her. I explain that I discovered everything 3 weeks ago through the security cameras I installed. Caroline realizes that I have been watching her betray me for weeks while planning my response. the knowledge that I orchestrated. Her professional destruction slowly dawns on her. I show Caroline additional footage of her stealing client information and planning the competing business with Trevor. She watches herself discussing my clients and sharing confidential details about my security contracts. Caroline understands that I know about every aspect of her betrayal, both personal and professional. She realizes that her affair was just the beginning of her violations against our marriage. Caroline begs for forgiveness and claims she never meant to hurt me or destroy my business. She says Trevor manipulated her emotions and promised things he never intended to deliver. Caroline tries to blame Trevor for corrupting her judgment and leading her into making terrible decisions. I listen without expression as she attempts to minimize her own responsibility for the choices she made. I present Caroline with the divorce papers and explain that our marriage is over. She pleads for another chance and promises to end things with Trevor permanently. Caroline offers to quit her job and move away to prove her commitment to our relationship. I tell her that her job situation has already been resolved along with Trevor's career prospects. Caroline looks confused until I explain my role in exposing their business theft. The full scope of my revenge becomes clear to Caroline as I detail how I contacted each stolen client. She realizes that I destroyed her professional reputation deliberately using evidence from her own recorded conversations. Caroline accuses me of being vindictive and cruel in my response to her affair. I remind her that she planned to steal my livelihood, along with betraying my trust and love. Caroline's desperation turns to anger as she processes how thoroughly I outmaneuvered her and Trevor. She accuses me of violating her privacy by monitoring the security cameras. I point out that she violated our marriage vows and committed corporate theft against my business. Caroline has no moral authority to complain about privacy when she destroyed our relationship through deception and betrayal. I give Caroline 30 minutes to collect any remaining personal items before she must leave permanently. She moves through our home like someone in shock, gathering belongings while crying. Caroline makes final attempts to negotiate or delay the inevitable, but I remain firm in my decision. Our marriage ended the moment she chose Trevor over our relationship and planned to destroy my business. Caroline signs the divorce papers after realizing she has no other options. Her affair, job loss, and professional destruction leave her with no leverage for negotiations. She takes her packed belongings and leaves our home for the final time. I watch from the window as Caroline drives away, knowing she will never return to the life we built together. 6 months have passed since Caroline left our home with her packed belongings and signed divorce papers. The legal proceedings concluded quickly, since I had overwhelming evidence of her adultery and corporate theft. Caroline did not contest the divorce or fight for alimony given her compromised position. She moved to another state, trying to rebuild her career and reputation, far from the scandal that destroyed her professional life here. My security business has expanded significantly thanks to the new corporate contracts I gained from exposing the theft scheme. The clients Caroline and Trevor tried to steal appreciated my integrity in protecting their confidential information. Word spread through the business community about my professional ethics, leading to referrals and new opportunities. What Caroline intended to destroy actually strengthened my company and reputation. Trevor's downfall has been even more dramatic than Caroline's professional destruction. His divorce from Miranda was finalized 2 months ago, with devastating financial consequences. Miranda received the house, majority custody of both children, and substantial alimony payments. Trevor lost his law license due to the ethics violations and criminal charges related to corporate espionage. He now works as a paralegal at a small firm for a fraction of his previous salary. The criminal investigation into Caroline and Trevor's business theft resulted in felony charges for both of them. They accepted plea bargains to avoid jail time, but face significant fines and probation. Both are required to pay restitution to the clients whose information they stole. Their criminal records make finding quality employment nearly impossible in their respective professional fields. I learned through mutual acquaintances that Caroline and Trevor's relationship ended badly after their professional lives collapsed. They blamed each other for the exposure and legal consequences. Caroline realized that Trevor never intended to leave Miranda and was using her for both personal pleasure and business advantage. Trevor abandoned Caroline once she became a liability rather than an asset to his schemes. Caroline attempted to contact me several times during the divorce proceedings, trying to negotiate better terms. She offered to provide testimony against Trevor in exchange for my support with her legal problems. I declined her offers and let my attorney handle all communications. Caroline burned every bridge when she chose betrayal over loyalty, and I felt no obligation to help her avoid consequences. The house feels peaceful now, without the tension and lies that filled our marriage during Caroline's affair. I redecorated our bedroom and removed all photos of Caroline from the walls. The security cameras at her former office were eventually removed when the agency closed due to the client losses. Those cameras served their purpose by revealing the truth and enabling justice. I started dating Sarah Mitchell 3 months ago after meeting her at a business networking event. Sarah runs her own accounting firm and appreciated hearing about my ethical handling of the corporate theft situation. She respects my integrity and values honesty in relationships. Our connection feels genuine and healthy compared to the deception that characterized my marriage with Caroline. Sarah knows the complete story about Caroline's betrayal and how I discovered it through security cameras. She admires how I handled the situation strategically rather than emotionally. Sarah says my response showed strength and intelligence rather than vindictiveness. Having someone who understands and supports my actions helps me move forward with confidence. The irony of this entire situation is not lost on me even now. I installed those security cameras to protect Caroline and keep her safe at work. Instead, they revealed her true character and protected me from years of continued deception. The technology meant to guard my wife ultimately guarded my future by exposing the truth before I wasted more time on a false marriage. I sometimes wonder if Caroline ever realizes how perfectly her plan backfired. She thought she was clever by avoiding the main office cameras while conducting her affair in Trevor's private office. Caroline never suspected that Trevor's office had its own camera that captured everything. Her careful planning to hide the affair actually provided the perfect evidence to expose it. Justice was served not through violence or illegal revenge, but through truth and consequences. Caroline and Trevor faced professional destruction, legal penalties, and social disgrace because of their own choices and actions. I simply revealed what they were already doing and let natural consequences unfold. Sometimes the best revenge is allowing people to face the results of their own behavior. Today, I feel grateful that Caroline's betrayal was discovered before we had children or made larger joint investments. The security cameras revealed her true nature early enough for me to protect my assets and emotional well-being. I learned that technology can be a powerful tool for discovering truth when people think they are hiding successfully. My new relationship with Sarah is built on honesty and mutual respect rather than deception and manipulation. If you believe in the power of truth and technology working together for justice, hit that like button to support more stories where cheaters face real consequences. Have you ever discovered something shocking through technology that was meant for a completely different purpose? Share your experiences in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories where the truth always comes to light. Coming up next week, the unbelievable story of a man who caught his cheating wife through her smart home devices. The evidence will blow your mind.